95% of all Bitcoin is now mined, and Bitcoin just broke below the 50 EMA, making everyone think a new bear market is here. But while retail panics, institutions like Harvard are loading up with hundreds of millions of dollars into Bitcoin ETFs. The supply is tightening fast, and smart money is positioning for what comes next. Let's dive in. So diving right into it here, Bitcoin has passed a massive milestone. 95% of its 21 million supply has now been mined. Here in this article, we see a breakdown of that. And really that means that nearly 17 years after Satoshi mined the Genesis block, we're entering the final stretch, the last 2.05 million Bitcoin that will ever come into existence. Economists from Kraken say this moment matters because inflation is now 0.8% per year, making Bitcoin one of the hardest forms of money ever created. So no central banks can just print more. No government can intervene. No economic downturn can increase the supply. And he's saying here, Bitcoin is rare, authentic, and impossible to duplicate. But here's the catch. The 95% milestone alone, he's saying, will not just pump the market. What it does is reinforce Bitcoin's digital gold narrative and accelerate the race to accumulate the remaining supply, and institutions are moving fast. How do you know institutions are moving fast, right? You have big institutions like Harvard, right? We see here one of the biggest moves came from Harvard, and what they're doing is pouring almost $500 million into Bitcoin as a SEC filing reveals massive BlackRock IBIT purchase, right? So they're making moves. They see the writing on the wall, but this is all happening when we have people talking about a 50 EMA being crossed, and now we're in a bear market. We have Harvard dumping $500 million as of September 30th. This is a 257% increase from the previous quarter. So to put this into perspective, if you look at Harvard, all right, everyone knows Harvard. Harvard now holds more in IBIT ETF than in Microsoft, Amazon, and nearly all their US equity positions. So ETF analysts called this a seal of approval because Ivy League endowments almost never touch new financial products, let alone crypto ETFs. He said it's incredibly rare to see a university like Harvard bite on an ETF. And yet they're placing nearly $500 million into Bitcoin exposure. Meanwhile, this is why everyone is talking about a new bear market. You see the smartest money in the world starts to front run this supply shortage. That's when long-term investors pay attention. So big shout out to Donnie for posting this. We're not falling into the sentiment of Bitcoin is dead, right? We think Bitcoin isn't dead. It's just lagging behind the stock market. And taking a look here, Bitcoin isn't just lagging equities with movement that convinces even the brightest minds in the space that is truly over, but it's not even close. Forget your 50-week moving average nonsense, right? And so that's pretty much been the notion, right? If this crosses here, the sky's falling, we're in a bear market, 4-year cycle, right? But if Bitcoin continues to follow equities the way it has been, this isn't the end. It's just a calm before the next break. And so that's what we wanted to talk to you guys about. We take a look at the charts and we see that we are at a level of support which could be broken, right? That is something that could happen. And when we see that, a lot of people are drawing an idea that this will continue down. We're in a bear market. There's not going to be a turn, but we have other ideas that paint the same picture. Right? Look at this. Historically, we follow the NASDAQ, right? We have a breakup in the NASDAQ, and typically Bitcoin follows that, right? So there's a case that Bitcoin hits 250K in 2026. That's the case based off of this chart. Now, we're looking at this chart, and you can grab something either way. Like the bear market people have a compelling story. The bull market people have a compelling story as well. Either way, the thing that's the caveat is smart money is accumulating nonetheless. That is undeniable. Smart money is accumulating. So we're seeing what they're doing, and this is before the reports. You can see it on the blockchain. Smart money is accumulating despite a 50 EMA cross. So that's what we're seeing, right? And you know, we look at the chart, we see where we're at, right? We can see there's a probability that we'll cross and close beneath 93,000, right? We absolutely could. We're right there. Going to the next support, down to 77,000. But while that's all happening, we're seeing massive accumulation. And so the question remains, what does this all mean? So Bitcoin crossing 95% supply mined is not just a number. It's the beginning of true scarcity. Then you have institutions like Harvard quietly loading up. And you have regulators and politicians openly battling over crypto's future. Then whales rotating capital, and the remaining 5% we know is going to be fought over harder than ever before. This isn't just hype. This is a monetary evolution playing out in real time. So wanted to cover that and give you guys a market update. Hope you guys got some value out of this video. Keep moving forward in everything that you do. We'll see you soon.